to my review of the Bosch TD3CNBW. And if you have the black version, it's the TD3CNBB. 3 kilogram compact tumble dryer. This is made by, from what I now know, TCL, a Chinese company, and is a Argos exclusive machine that retails for £160 as of today of this recording. I've also seen it a little bit pricier as well at £170 in the past. Maybe there's a newer model coming out at some point. Anyway, this has been, I bought this from auction myself, and by the looks of things, it has never ever been used. So, it's basically brand new. There's obviously a couple of scuffs. There's a scuff here for some reason, it will not go. It will not budge, so unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. However, unlike its bigger counterpart, this door actually has two plastic parts to it. On the bigger one, you don't. You only have one. But this, one here and one here, so effectively you could remove this one if we wanted to, for filming purposes, remove it so the light didn't glare off it. But we're not going to do that because we're only going to do one video, and then we're going to put it up for sale. I've been running it a little bit and it runs perfectly fine. However, it is, for the most part, slow. And it's slow for one reason. It's got a very small heater. In fact, the whole unit uses just 1020 watts. That's 1020 watts for the motor and the heater combined. So I'm guessing that the heater is probably around 900 watts on high heat. Low heat's gonna be even worse then, isn't it? Only maybe 600 watts. And in fact, that actually kind of reflects within the user manual. So if you want to do a full load, a 3 kilogram load, it does suggest up to 180 minutes. That's obviously based on a 3 kilogram load on a slow spin, or short spin, or whatever you want to call it, maybe 800 RPM or 1000 RPM. The standard does actually state 141 minutes for a full load, so that's 2 hours 21 converted, which is still incredibly long-ish. In fact, come to think of it, the White Knight wasn't that much faster, and that had a bigger heater. So maybe it's got something to go for it there, in that terms. Of course, White Knight doesn't exist anymore, so it's a bit of a poor comparison, isn't it? Right, it's a simple to use machine. You've just got a timer, and this timer is also carried on to the full-size one as well. It's exactly the same. But with a much smaller drum. If you're wondering about the size of the machine, it is 49 centimeters width, 47.5 centimeters deep, and 69 centimeters tall. It is compact, but because of the smaller depth, it does actually give a smaller drum over, and because how the drum is set up, it's a smaller drum over a White Knight, for example. So you don't actually have as much physical room, but it does stay still 3 kilograms. Right, the door. Pull it open. Fingers there, and this jutted out. And pull it open. Yeah, the door is that kind of tight on that you're actually pulling the entire machine. And bearing in mind, this isn't a light machine. It weighs, according to it, 20.5 kilograms, which is slightly heavier than the White Knights of the same point. Yeah, inside we've got a lot of warning stickers. We've got a warning, regularly clean the lint trap, danger of electric shock risk. Caution, hot surface, do not touch the intake during cycle due to high temperatures. Makes sense. Caution, risk of fire, read the instructions. This is normal. Here is a little filter that can be taken off and cleaned. At regular intervals. That's it, that's all you gotta clean. And you just hoover that and then put it back on. You can take it out if you want. And basically your heater is actually here. So what it does is that the airflow is going through there into the drum. So what it is that your heater is behind here. It's in between there and the drum. And this is your air intake. So it'll be this side that gets dirty. Just remember to clean it every now and then to reduce fire risk. The heater's also down here, has this button here. Reset button, push up with your finger when manual reset is needed. It's basically an overheat stat, and it will probably trigger if the filter becomes so full that there is so little airflow that it will overheat the heater. But to get to that point, you really have to be running it like for a really long time and not do it. Right, and that pushes up to reset. The door design is pretty simple actually. It's just literally, you know, a couple screws onto a piece of plastic, sandwiching the door hinge here. We've got a door pin here, and that's your door clip. I do like that everything's exposed so you can actually see. Nice on, you know, for me. Right, simple controls here. We've got cool down marked out in green, heat dry marked out in red, and air dry, which is basically cool down, marked out in grey. Air dry does absolutely nothing. It doesn't heat or anything, it just blows cold air. And basically they put this in place because the timer probably goes up to about, what, 5 hours or something like that? And of course 5 hours is far, far too long. So they kind of put the heater mark up to 200, 3 hours 20, and that's enough for, you know, even with the wettest of loads, hopefully. And then obviously air dry has been put in place to make the rest of that timer. It actually serves really no purpose at all. Cool down does last for 20 minutes, but it's a rather long time considering really. It could have just been done from as little as 10, but I think it's something to do with how the sections work around here. Right. So we've obviously got 80 minutes air dry. There's no cool down because there's no heat in the first place, and it comes to off. Nice clip there. Then we start off with about 200 minutes, and that will go down to there. That click means that the heat is now off, and another click to say that the entire machine is off. Rather simple. You could turn this backwards, because it will do it, but if you notice here, it goes stiff and then it will click. You're going backwards over the 20-minute marker there, which is obviously your cooldown, which means if you turn it to before that point, before that hardness, it'll be on heat dry, but it won't heat. So my recommendation for using the machine every single time is just to turn the, even though you can turn it backwards, just turn it, just turn the dial anti-clockwise every single time. Right, heat buttons are here. Push it in for high heat, all 900 watts. Leave it out for low heat, and it still gets 900 watts. It does actually use a thermostat, I believe, rather than, so the heater's only got one coil, and then the low heat will activate a thermostat, which will cycle the heater on and off, depending on what the thermostat's doing. And then you got start, and you push that in to start the machine. Right, we've got grab handles either side, so we can easily pick up and move the machine. And we've got the back here. Rather simple. That's your lead, which is actually quite a nice, healthy, probably 1.5 meters length lead. That's nice. We've got the vent here. In fact, you can actually see the back of the drum there, which is nice. The vent hose came with the machine, and like I said, it's not been used. That is to the machine, but there's something missing here. Oh, we've also got a manual that came with it, which is nice, but it's a staggering 37 pages long. But it's a staggering 34 pages long. Most of which goes to waste. I mean, look at this. Nothing. 1. Chapter 1. And it does chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7. So there's 14 pages there. That's unnecessary. Wasted. Thanks. It's also a C energy rated machine. And we got our manual, our guarantee. Doesn't actually say how long it's for. Although it's quite funny how they will keep your details for 10 years. Normally for 10 years the average life of an appliance. That's been 7 years for a long time. So that's wrong. Oh, well, we also get this Jubilee clamp for the hose, and we also get this cable tie for the hose. Bit hopeless when the actual hose is too small. Right, this is our rating plate at the back. 3 kilogram load, obviously 240 volt, rated input 1020 watt. It shows you here the bit of a wiring, how it's all wired in with the plug. It's quite easy. You obviously got a fuse, red, brown, door switch. So everything's operated by the door switch. We've got a thermostat, start button, timer, which goes, and it looks like the timer's just made of 3 connections. Look, so we've also got a light to the heater, which also has a thermostat. Yeah, there's 2 thermostats. The heater selector, and then the motor. Pretty simple. That's how it should be. Right, if you want to change anything inside the machine, like the belt or the heater or everything, this back panel comes off and then everything comes out through that way. It's easy to do for the belt and stuff like that. This is a strut brace that goes between them. It's easy to change all the filters and all that and clean it all. But it does mean you have to take that whole back off just to change something. And if you want something from the front off, like the timer, yeah, good luck with that. Still, it is better than some other setups. So, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe when I rated the first one, I was a bit harsh on it. But I've probably been a bit more harsh to the fact that it was all electronic and gives you nothing. This is a manual timer, which I actually like because it's infinite. So right there we've got a bath towel and some socks, some pants and the kids' pyjamas. We're going to add, basically it's entirely from the hot point from earlier. I'll say earlier. So there we go, we've got a half load. This was spun at a short 1000 RPM spin. So we're going to select high heat. And we're going to select 2 hours. Roughly. 20 minutes on to that. They're nearly dry. It's still need quite a bit of drying still. The socks are dry, but the towels aren't. I think it's dry now, roughly. I was a bit off with the cool down, weren't I? Right, now it's dry. I'll finish the review off in a minute. Right, well they're all dry, but it did take a staggering amount of time. We've also got to clean the filter. So we've got 4 holes to grab hold of here, and then pull. Right, things to take note of. So this will always sit at the back first. So that always sits at the back, that way on. Now as for this, it will just unclip. Take out our fur, our fluff, and we put this back together. Place that back over like so. And then push that back on. Ready? And that's it, it just clicks back on. Right, so I'm going to give this out of 10 then. Staggeringly, it's not doing very well, is it? We've got a machine here that takes forever to dry, even when it's fully working. Now imagine that, but when that filter's full, it's going to increase the time even more. Okay, I know these are 1,000 RPM spin and it was on a short spin, but it took 3 hours. 3 hours. That's staggering. Considering that White Knights would have been just 2 hours 15, and if you go to like a much older Creeder, like we've got here beside me, or even a brand new Indesit compact that you can also buy, the times will be less than half that. In fact, a Creeder will happily do 3 kilo in about 80 minutes. Right, it's going to get a staggering 3 out of 10. I get it, it's the most cheapest machine on the market, but if White Knight was still around, that's what it was competing against. This. And it was White Knight's demise of these coming onto the market that made them disappear. They couldn't compete with the Chinese. They couldn't compete with foreign companies. And they took over, and I don't know why, because a White Knight is far better than this. The only thing going for it is a bit better than, say, the White Knight is this door. At least it's nice and solid. It's not, there's no play in it. And it's quite well made, but overall, that heater's pathetic. And it was bad enough for the White Knight to have a 1400 watt heater and then a 1200 watt heater. But to have just a, oh, by the way, it's an 820 watt heater, is pathetic. And that is why it's getting 3 out of 10. Right, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in another review soon. Don't forget to like, comment what you like about the machine, or don't like about the machine. And don't forget to subscribe. There is a playlist coming up for these at some point when I get around to it, and hopefully land in that. So there will be that playlist about, so don't forget to actually, if you want to, follow that specific playlist if you like reviews like this. I've been doing this for a while now, and that's why I started doing playlists more, because of course people seem to be out there, they don't want to watch every single video I ever make, and that is my channel. I don't expect everybody to watch every single video that I make. Those that do, thank you, and you're just as mad as I am. But I don't really kind of say it enough, and I know you're not going to see this really to all my subscribers, because hey, who's wanting to watch a review of a 160 quid bus tumble dryer that doesn't really dry clothes? But there you go. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye for now.